Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Some Seminarians. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. As you can tell by what's behind me and our humming before this, today's topic is Christmas, and there's a lot to say.
Absolutely.
So first of all, I kind of want to know, do you all have like certain family traditions that you all have for Christmas? And if so, like what?
Food.
Yeah.
Food, and more food. I think definitely just coming together as family and eating a ton of food, especially tamales.
Hi, tamales.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm originally from Mexico, so we have also the posadas. And the posadas, there are this kind of preparation for Christmas, but during Christmas, there is pozoles, tamale, buñuelos. Yeah. There are a lot of food, as you said, a lot of food. And all of the members of the family, sometimes they bring something else,
right.
Another recipe, and that is amazing. And you, God,
it's a novena of eating,
basically. So on the posadas, do y'all travel to different homes, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Well, for instance, my city is different kind of posadas. There are different levels of posadas. For instance, in the neighborhoods, when I was growing up in my neighborhood, we had posadas in different houses.
Okay.
So during 9 days, we were walking. We had a starting point, and then we walked to the end. In a specific house, we ended the posada, and right there we had the pilgrimage, Joseph and the Virgin Mary, and some kid who was representing the baby Jesus. And then we were out of the doors, and inside of the house there were another part of the family who was the host, and then we sing Entre santos peregrinos reciban. And then we enter, and it was a feast because they gave us atole, buñuelos, and a lot of candy. And sometimes they had piñatas.
Oh, wow.
That was something in my neighborhood. It didn't happen in my childhood every year. And another time, in another parts, for instance, in the parties, there was another kind of posada, and it was the rosary. We prayed the rosary inside of my parish, my home parish, and then at the end, the different families, they organize different things, and they give some gifts for those who have a custom of that ages.
Okay.
And if you have a custom, you can get some of the gifts, which were candy and some another games, table games, or those kind of gifts.
That's really
and it
cool.
was amazing. And another temples, another churches or hospitals, they prepare another posadas.
Okay.
So, for instance, in my case, in my childhood, I just had my friends in the neighborhood, and we usually go for San Antonio, which was the posada at 4 p.m. And then we went to the Hospital of Jesus, which has the posada at 6 p.m. And then to my home parish, which was the posada at 7 p.m. And then in the neighborhood at 8 p.m. So we got a lot of candy, and we were having competitions who have more candy that day.
And was that like every day?
Every day during 9 days.
Yes. Did you do posada?
We did posadas growing up. It was a little different being here in the States and growing up with that. So in Corpus, where I grew up, those of us that were part of the parish would get together. We'd plan ahead of time which house was going to go which day.
Right.
And it was a lot of the same thing with the back and forth between the inside, outside, and prayers, gathering as a community, and food. Right. Of course, food.
Absolutely.
The big part.
That's awesome, because I had a similar experience to yours, Eric. Like we at back home in one of the parishes in the down the street from where I lived, the same thing, posadas, each different family would host. And then I just remember the Mexican hot chocolate too. Tamales and hot chocolate. Oh my gosh, so good. But yeah, doing that for the 9 days leading up to Christmas. And what a beautiful way to like really recognize the reason for the season.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I think that there are another kind of posadas. For instance, posadas organized by the teamworks or in your job or in your school, in high school or university. And right there you have just a special time to get together and to share also with hot chocolate, also with tamales, also with different kinds of things. And you sing and those things. But there is an extra part, which is the interchange of gifts.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes they set the price. They said the interchange will be this year about some amount of money, and it's many times the other person, they don't know what to give to you because they really don't know you very well, or they don't want to spend time in thinking of that. And sometimes they just put some socks and some candy, and they just spend the amount of money, or just a gift card there, but they didn't take care on what would you were expecting. So sometimes you did a great effort to say, oh, what else person should like, okay, and you were looking for, and what you received was very simple, was nothing, was just something that the other person didn't take care on give your gift. But the most important thing is not being expecting what you will receive. But the most important thing was, what are you giving to the other person? That was the real sign for that specific moment. It was a moment to share and to say, I appreciate you. I don't care for the amount of money that I am spending on you, but I want to give you this because of this.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of like, not so much family traditions, but traditions that have been started with friends. Just in, I was going to say intercambio, but gift exchange. Just being able to get together as friends and give each other that Secret Santa gift. It's something really special.
Yeah, no doubt. I like what y'all are saying there, like this aspect of giving, right? I think, we can definitely see the commercialization of the holiday and going out and buying everything. The sales are going on at the stores and everything like that. They're definitely encouraging us to go out and buy, but like the same aspect of just giving of a wonderful gift of time, presence, even to our family, our friends, our loved ones, and then creating those wonderful traditions that bring us together as family and as friends, to just be joyful. I think that's the other aspect of the season, is to just be joyful. And oftentimes we can be burdened, it may seem, by the hustle and bustle, and I got to do this, all the to-do lists, and
especially since it seems like every year Christmas is starting earlier. Because what was it? I think it was like even before Halloween at like Sam's Club and Walmart, the Christmas decorations were already up and being sold. It's ridiculous.
I think that it is important, everything, and even though the culture invites us to this kind of extreme commercialization, you can take what is good of that.
Absolutely.
And it's beautiful when you see a family which is decorating their houses, and you go around the neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods are amazing, and the decoration is great. And also with your family, just take the time to decorate your house, and that is amazing. I think that there is a good moment. Also, you will need something because you keep the things that you used last year, you will use it this year, and you need to take the boxes and take them out and then think on what way we're decorating in this year or no. I think that is a special moment, even though you need to buy a new things for this year. I think that take the which is good, and which is good in the culture is that through this commercialization you can beauty your house, and you can these things that are exterior things, you can bring them into your interior and take time to share with your family and say, this is beautiful outside. In that way, I want to be that beautiful inside, in my heart, in my soul, with my family. And I give the best for be bright and be lighting as my house is lighting. I want to be that for my family or for my friends.
Absolutely, drawing in a deeper meaning to everything that we see on the external side, or like you said, taking what's good. I know, like, for my grandfather was known for decorating my grandparents' house with tons of Christmas lights. Like, everyone would drive by and he would have lights everywhere. It was really, really beautiful. But that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to decorate. Did your family do a lot of lights on the outside?
No, we we've always been very simple and simplistic on the decoration. But one thing that is always one of the first things to be set up is the nativity scene.
Yeah.
It used to be my job to like put it together and everything.
Right.
Going off to college, off into the world, it's no longer my job, sadly. But it's I don't know, the fact that that's the first thing that we put together as a family, is that little reminder of like, this is why we're celebrating this. This is the reason. Let's keep this in the center of this whole festive time.
Right. Were there any traditions with the baby Jesus? Like, do you put him out already, or do you wait? I don't know if there's any traditions that.
Well, in my case, in my family and my town, most of the times you put together, set an activity there, and I think that since the first Sunday of Advent, you set an activity there, but you don't put the baby Jesus right there until the December Christmas Eve. And on Christmas Eve, for instance, in my family, we go to Mass. It could be at 8 p.m. or something like that. In Mexico, it's common that the Mass is at 8 p.m. And then we have this baby, and before the midnight, all of us carry the baby and we express what are we grateful for. All the family gathered together around, and we said, what are we grateful for? And we express our thanksgiving for Jesus, and then we kiss the baby, and it is around. And at the last moment, is my grandma who take the baby Jesus and he put it around the nativity.
Wow,
that is amazing. It is a beautiful moment for me and for my family.
It's a beautiful tradition. Beautiful. Because again, like that expression of the season and the joy and the Thanksgiving, for what a gift, right? I mean, the gift of the Word incarnate of Jesus Christ, who's our Savior, receiving that gift into our families, into our hearts, into our lives by that symbolic practice of taking the child Jesus and expressing a Thanksgiving. That's really beautiful.
Does your family do something similar?
Not really, honestly. Certainly the nativity was a beautiful aspect, and it would always be like under the tree, or we'd start to collect nativity scenes. I don't know if the other family the same, and have them all over different places in the house as well, but not necessarily with the baby Jesus. I think when you go to midnight mass, oftentimes the parish will have like the infant Jesus, and then have that opportunity for the parishioners and the faithful to go up and kiss the baby Jesus on his feet or his toes or his forehead. So I remember that practice for sure, but within the home, not really. But I think I've grown in awareness of different traditions and practices recently, and that I think I'll definitely take back to my family and incorporate those into what we do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the experience, that moment is that important in my family, that last summer, when 1 year ago, my daughter passed away. So she was always my sister. My sister.
I was like, what?
Spiritual daughter, maybe. No, my sister passed away. She was 46, and that year, last Christmas, she wasn't able to be there because she wasn't in heaven. So my other sister, she made some pillows with her teachers. And at that moment, when we were carrying the baby, he gave us the pillow. So our sister Angelica is here with us. Right. She really liked this moment. And with the pillow, we were carrying the baby Jesus in the pillow of my sister. In that way, it was a symbolic action that my sister was carrying the baby too. And that was a very meaningful moment for all the family. And it was expression for my sister, we know that you are in heaven. You are living in a different reality that we are. Sure. So you are aware of this moment. We want you to be with us in this special moment. And I think that families express different moments. But the very important thing is that Jesus is the center of the celebration of the Christmas. Right. And what cannot happen, or is not recommendable to happen, is that put out Jesus. Right. Sometimes we're celebrating everything. We are very happy. We're joyful. We have plenty of food, but we forget Jesus, which is the center of the celebration of Christmas. We are celebrating that God became man and that God is with us, and that simplicity of life.
Right.
That is amazing.
Right.
That is why we need to recognize and be mindful that it's Jesus who we are celebrating, and we are around Jesus.
I think it's beautiful what you're saying there, because then there's this introducing new traditions within the family. It sounds like, that according to like where your family is, the circumstances within your family, introducing new traditions that help each other, one another, to recognize the beauty of the season and to draw on our history, family history, and bringing those who've gone before us into that celebration, because we're all together. We're all in it together, right? As a beautiful church. So I think that's really beautiful, Rafael. Thank you for sharing that with us, because it's a beautiful tradition that your family has created, from just from the journey here of our life's journey. I think that's really wonderful. Another thing that my family does is like to do Christmas hay rides. So really? in my hometown, they do a hay ride through the city. And so the whole community comes out, and like there's like 15 trailers, big trailers with hay on there. They serve hot chocolate, and you get on the trailer with the hay ride, and they drive through the city, just looking at Christmas lights, singing Christmas carols. And so it's really a communal kind of experience for the little town that I'm from, about celebrating the season. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Wow. It's something new. It's
when do you guys usually do that?
It's usually like right after Thanksgiving. So
we'll have to go next year.
Yeah. So that it starts kind of like bringing people together. And so I think that's pretty cool. And I thought maybe we can do like a hayride for the seminary or something.
Where would we get the hay?
I don't know. We'd find a way to do it.
No, but that reminds me, like, not so much here with my family, but when I was in college, something I would always do with my roommates and friends from college, we would always go watch the Christmas lights. Up in South Bend, there's people take the time to really decorate their houses, and just like here in San Antonio, there's a neighborhood that goes all out.
Oh yeah.
So every single year we would first get milkshakes. I know it's cold. It's freezing up there anyway, but
okay.
Milkshakes in the car, just driving slowly through the neighborhood, and I think we should do that this next year as well. Just San Antonio guys.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. What about Christmas movies or Christmas music that you? I imagine, Eric, you're a big movie guy.
Yeah. One of my personal favorites is Elf.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just really funny, and I really enjoy it. But I was talking to you before, both of you before, and I was able to. I didn't watch the movie until like I was in college. But in college, I watched for the first time A Christmas Story.
Okay.
Good movie.
Yeah,
I love it. I was able to go to the Christmas Story house the day after watching it. So I was with some friends for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And they were appalled that I had seen the movie. So they had me watch it. And then the next morning they were like, by the way, we got tickets to go to the Christmas Story house and we're going. Unique experience there. And I think that's why it's one of my favorites as well, because I got to see like the whole set,
right?
The leg lamp, the pink bunny suit by the tree and everything.
Yeah.
Quite enjoyable. I think just like all these movies that come out though they're really good.
Yeah.
There's a reason people watch the Hallmark Christmas movie marathons.
Oh my gosh. I think for me my favorite, I guess, is Elf. I don't know. It's funny. When he pours like the syrup
over the
spaghetti. And then he's like chugging the big like 3-liter bottle of Coca-Cola or something. It's just like how do you do that?
My favorite part is when he like launches himself at the Christmas tree.
Oh yeah. Or the part where they're doing the snowball fight.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like throwing them like whoa.
Yeah, it's a great time just being able to sit down and watch movies. But
I don't have a favorite, but I really like the Christmas movies because always the plot is the same.
Oh, yeah.
You already know what will happen.
Right.
That they will be in trouble. That somebody that doesn't like the Christmas season and the other family really loves season, and somebody in the family won't be there or something like that.
Right.
And at the end, all of them are together. All of them are joyful because of that special moment. And I think that it is very good to take your time to enjoy those movies with your family, with your friends, and reflect a little bit. What is important in this season? What is important of Christmas? Why is important for us to celebrate? Why all of the world is celebrating Christmas?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why there is all of this movement around the world with this season? Well, and then make it personal. What are we doing? How are we celebrating it? And I think that also having fun, but also it is a great opportunity to reflect on how are we doing this year.
You might not have a favorite movie, but I'm sure you have a favorite Christmas song.
Oh yes, in Spanish. Campana sobre campana y sobre campana una.
I don't know this one.
Yeah, it's in Spanish, but I have one in English, which is "Joy to the World."
It's the one we were humming at the beginning.
Right.
the very
That's why we were
beginning.
humming it.
Yeah, did you have any?
You have your first song on?
I don't know. A Silent Night comes to mind. I'm trying to think. What else? I think that's what I'm gonna choose for now.
You?
For me, I really love a lot of them, all of them really. But I was mentioning to someone earlier that I spent some time in Ireland, and while I was there, that was my first of all, that was my first and only Christmas away from my family.
Oh, okay.
I spent that across the seas. But in the preparation up to Christmas and all the liturgical stuff that came with that, I was able to learn a Christmas carol that was like written and has been performed there like since the 15th century.
Oh, wow.
It's called the Wexford Carol, and it's just beautiful. I would recommend listening to it.
Yeah.
The Julie Andrews version though.
Okay.
Because it's beautiful. It tells the story of the Nativity.
Wow, do you remember this? Pero mira cómo beben los peces en el río. Pero mira cómo beben por ver a Dios nacido. Beben y vuelven a beber. Los peces en el río por ver a Dios nacer.
I love that one too. It's I don't know if you've heard it before, but
I haven't heard that.
it's just a song talking about Mary just like preparing and for whatever reason she's just like
yes, also all of the creation is where it's expecting for Jesus.
Okay,
It's talking about Mary, but all of the creation, the fish, and all of the creation of the animals are expecting for us. Yeah.
Look at the fish in the rivers.
That's awesome. Well, I think it's also we're here, it's a couple of days after Christmas Day, but the season is certainly not over. I think the beautiful aspect is the octave of Christmas, that we're still in. Basically, this is all Christmas Day in a sense, like the octave of Christmas. But then beyond that, too, we have the Christmas season that goes up until ordinary time starts, with the baptism of the Lord. And so, like,
in February,
we have a lot still to be joyful about. I mean, I think, and taking the time, like you were saying, Rafael, to like internalize the beauty of the season. And I think it's an awesome time for us to just be sharing this podcast with everyone listening, because certainly just a reminder and an encouragement that we continue to meditate on the beautiful gift of the incarnation. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us, right? And the humility that's shown by the Christ child born in a manger. He was the King of Kings, and yet he didn't choose to be born anywhere other than in a manger, right? In a stable, but in a manger specifically where animals go to eat and find nourishment and food. And so here he is, the Christ child, who is our nourishment and our food and our source of our life and our faith. And so I think that those beautiful reflections, there's a lot of them out there that we can find online, a lot of resources to help us in our meditation and just continue to draw more and more from this Christmas season, and not to like take down the Christmas lights.
No.
I hope you haven't done that yet. Leave them up, keep the Christmas tree up, keep the nativity up, like keep celebrating the season. And I think also too, just finding different ways. It's not too late to introduce different traditions into the way you celebrate this beautiful season.
I think that it is very important to be focused on what we are celebrating, which is Jesus, who is Jesus. That is that amazing, that event, the very event that Jesus became man, that God, the Word became man, and was incarnate and came to be honored. That is amazing. That is spectacular. That it is not even narrated in a scripture. Not even really narrated in a scripture. There's before and after. But not the precise event of how Jesus was born. It is not in the Bible. But I think that Margaret Maria Alacoque, she wrote a very beautiful image. I think that was a particular revelation on how was that spectacular moment. So I really invite you to go and to read about how she describes this amazing event, and she will capture your attention in that beautiful event. She described it beautifully, and I think that for this moment that we are celebrating, we are gathered together with our families, and we are just in this joyful season, in this joyful time. It's important to go and reflect what did really happen, and how that transformed our lives as human beings, and how is everything different because God dwells among us.
I this song, "Go Tell It on the Mountain," is coming to my mind. Like, go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Like, take the time to meditate and pray with this beautiful season, this beautiful feast day, which we celebrate the Word becoming flesh, and go take that. Like, go take it, and shout from the mountaintops that Jesus Christ, the Savior, is born. And we're different because of it. We're transformed, in fact, because of that beautiful gift of the incarnation. And thanks be to God for that.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of the liturgical season of Christmas, because the church offers us so many days to reflect on it, not just the octave of Christmas, but some of the feast days between Christmas Day and the baptism, or Candlemas. With like just the two that come to mind, the Epiphany and the Solemnity of Mary, Mother of God. Just encompassing that this is the Christ child born to us, and we are supposed to be celebrating, and not only that, but he is supposed to be the center of our lives.
And then also too, speaking of feast days, like the Feast of the First Martyrs, what we just celebrated, and then also the Feast of the Holy Family. I think that's really beautiful for us we keep on mentioning families over and over, because that's the core, as the starting place of society, really. And so like the importance of the family and looking at the Holy Family, Mary and Joseph, and all they sacrificed and given, and the trust. Wow, like the trust that they've been asked to commit to the Lord and to God, and to really trust that what He's doing in their lives.
Yes, I think that just take a moment to reflect on the nativity, to contemplate the nativity, and how did Joseph do? How did Joseph do? Mary, what did she do? And Jesus, how he became man. He was God. He is God, and he was in heaven already. So he wanted to give. Joseph gave his life. Mary gave her life. So that is amazing. This season is about giving yourself.
Absolutely,
giving yourself.
Absolutely. No, I think you bring us to a really good point, Rafa, that we encourage anyone who's watching or listening, like, turn off the podcast.
Turn off when we're finished.
and go before a nativity scene in your home or at your local parish, and just go and contemplate and meditate on that beautiful gift of the incarnation, of the Word becoming flesh, and take that time just to spend before a manger and really contemplating what gift that is.
Probably going with your family as well.
Absolutely, yes. Good point, Eric. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this latest episode of Some Seminarians podcast. Please, we invite you to like, comment, subscribe, and most especially share this video with someone you think might enjoy it. And don't forget to keep please pray for vocations. Pray for all of us who are in seminary formation. God willing, one day we'll become priests. And please encourage those young men that you know in your parish communities to consider priesthood, and those young women to consider life in the consecrated life as well. God bless you all. Keep celebrating Christmas, the reason for the season, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Da, 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 da.